But first, the justice system has been exposed this week for letting down alleged victims of domestic violence. At what point in this country do we stop saying another alleged murder, another killer out on bail, another possibly preventable situation? Molly Ticehurst was allegedly killed this week in regional New South Wales by her ex-boyfriend. On April 5, Daniel Billings was arrested and charged on rape and domestic violence charges allegedly committed against her and denied bail by police. But the next day, a court granted him bail. A court registrar placed him on an interim apprehended violence order and released him on $5,000 bail. It's alleged he was not deterred by the bail conditions imposed by the registrar, and 2 weeks later, Molly Ticehurst was dead. Potentially, that was a fatal decision by the court. Now, sadly, this is not an isolated case. It's happened many times before. Man Monis was on bail at the time he carried out the siege on Sydney's Lint Cafe. He had been granted bail 2 months before the attack, despite 40 sexual assault charges involving 7 alleged victims and with being an accessory to the murder of his former wife. The list of women allegedly killed by men out on bail is long and it's shocking. Now, I want to preface by saying I do not by no means think all men are bad. I do not accept that all men are monsters. I actually think most would be horrified and distressed at the thought of violence against women. And while I am lucky to be surrounded by fantastic men in my life, I'm obviously not ignorant to the fact that there are bad people out there, and they are the ones who have let women down. A woman is killed on average in Australia every 4 days this year alone. Now, that is a shocking statistic, and it's quite frankly unacceptable.
Men and boys have to clearly have discussions about these issues. There's a need to show respect to women, and it is just horrifying.
The PM is right. We need to teach boys to respect women. But all we've heard this week is talk of inquiries, reviews, doing more, just like we do every time a woman is allegedly killed. And what has changed? Nothing. Now the prospect of a royal commission has been raised, which would likely take years. The system is broken now.
It's all good and well to have tough penalties, but if they're not enforced, women will continue to be subjected to this type of violence, and particularly from partners and men that they know.
The time has come for an all-encompassing approach and for Australia's justice system, lawmakers and emergency authorities to step up to the plate. Worryingly, a bail monitoring group tasked by the New South Wales Premier to review the decision to release Molly Ticehurst's alleged murderer on bail previously reviewed bail in relation to sexual violence offences without making any changes. The Sydney Morning Herald reports in 2021, the then Attorney-General Mark Speakman asked the group to review the state's bail laws after a spate of controversial bail decisions. But the group did not make any recommendations in relation to those issues. While the full review was never made public, at the time, the Bail Act monitoring group admitted New South Wales Police were of the view that overall, the recommendations do not go far enough to address the issues identified through the course of the review. So how can we trust that changes will be made? Molly Ticehurst's case should be a wake-up call. Her alleged killer had been charged with 3 counts of sexual intercourse without consent, 4 counts of stalking and intimidation, 2 counts of malicious damage, and an animal cruelty charge allegedly relating to Molly Ticehurst's 12-week-old dachshund puppy. The New South Wales Police Commissioner confirmed to 2GB Radio today that the accused appeared in court again last Thursday, the 18th of April, for a mention. This is days before the alleged murder. But there were no grounds for the matter to be revisited.
You're saying that your prosecutor had no provision to apply during that hearing on the 18th of April for the matter to be revisited?
Yes, on the basis that there were no breaches of the bail between those intervening dates, the 6th and the 18th. So,
okay.
As I said, I imagine this will be all swept up in that review.
Why? The alleged facts speak for themselves. How were the charges not enough in the first place to keep her alleged killer locked up? Urgent, broad reform is needed. We can't keep accepting these tragic deaths because these are our mothers, sisters, aunties, friends. Again, most men are good. Let's not let this case lose sight of that. But it's how we guard against the bad apples and throw the book at them that matters.